Rats can be mysterious, and deciphering what they really mean with their body language can sometimes be difficult. As humans, we often miss hidden clues and subtle hints that rats use to try and tell us something. In this video, we're taking a look at all the signs that rats use to show that they love and trust you. Let's dig in. The first, and often most obvious sign that your rat loves and trusts you is when they attempt to keep physical contact with you. You may see them follow you around the house, seek your attention by standing on two legs in front of you, or invite you to play together. All these signs mean that your rat likes to spend time with you and are a sign of love and affection. You can return this sign of affection by cuddling with your rat. Watching a movie with them on the couch or playing with them are all great ways to build a stronger bond with them and show your rat that you love them as well. Of course, do be careful and always be gentle. Rats are small animals, and you should never squeeze them too hard when cuddling. Additionally, if your rat wants to spend as much time near you as possible, you might notice that they run excitedly to the bars of their cage to see you when you come back after being away for a while. It's a bit like having a dog rush up to the front door of the house when you come into the house. So, when they get excited by your presence, you can be sure that your rats have real love for you. A second sign that your rat trusts and loves you is when they accept food and treats from you easily. When people hear this, they're often surprised. After all, rats love to eat, so they'll likely accept food from anyone, right? But that's not really the case. You see, rats have to be careful with eating unfamiliar food because they do not have the ability to vomit. What this means is that if they eat something bad, it could be lethal for them because they lack the ability to dispose of it before it causes harm. Rats are what's called neophobic, which means they're afraid of new things. However, they're much more likely to be willing to try new things if it's given to them by a source that they trust, such as you. Since your rat trusts you enough to eat what you give it, it's always very important that you properly research any treat you give to your rat. Rats can safely eat most foods, but there are a few that should definitely be avoided, such as onions and rhubarb. Thirdly, you might notice that your rat will attempt to groom or lick you if they trust and love you. Rats have a variety of reasons for licking humans. One of the reasons is that you simply might have something delicious on your skin, such as salty sweat or something that smells like food. But another reason is that your rat is showing affection and is trying to groom you. Rats are very social animals that live in large groups. In these groups, they spend a lot of time grooming themselves and one another. If you notice that your rat is grooming you, it's a good sign that they consider you part of their group. Fourthly, vocalizations are a good way to tell if your rat trusts and loves you or is scared of you. Rats are not particularly noisy animals, but they can make sounds, and knowing what these vocalizations mean is important to distinguish positive from negative sounds. These sounds are often accompanied by body language, which makes it easier to distinguish what they mean. Long squeaks and loud screams are a sign of fear or extreme disapproval. If you hear these sounds, it's best to give your rat some space and figure out why they're making these sounds. In addition, rats can huff, which is like a human's sigh. Much like in humans, this is often a sign of annoyance or general grumpy mood, and a sign the rat wants to be left alone. Rats can also hiss, and this is a bad sign. A hiss is an aggressive form of a huff. The rat will be aggressively posturing, probably fluffed up with their tail wagging. This rat should not be approached or picked up without a towel, some thick gloves, or something similar. In many cases, it is best to leave the rat to calm down in a small, familiar place, such as a carrier. It is often a precursor to an outright attack or fight. Short pips and squeaks are often made for no reason at all. Unfortunately, we humans cannot hear most of the sounds that rats make when they are happy. For instance, rats are actually capable of laughing, but our puny human ears are incapable of picking up on the sound. As a result, if your rat is mostly quiet, at least that's what it'll sound like to you when you're interacting with it. This is generally a good sign. The fifth sign of affection is one that you might not really appreciate. It's scent marking. Not all rats do this. It's mainly males that do it, but when they do it, It's a sign of affection because they want to mark you as part of their colony. Scent marking can happen in two ways. The first is when your rat rubs its body up against you, which is not at all unpleasant. The second, however, is done with pee and is a behavior that's understandably less appreciated. Urine marking might be gross to us humans, but it's quite interesting to learn about because it's a very effective way of communication. Urine contains a lot of information for other rats. Just through urine, rats can learn a lot of information about the rat who produced it, such as their species, sex, age, reproductive state, availability, social status, identity, stress levels, and more. Unfortunately, while rats are very trainable animals, it can be very difficult to teach them to stop scent marking because it's such deeply ingrained behavior. If you want to avoid this behavior, it's best to get female rats because they're much less likely to engage in it, though females can still do it too. The sixth sign of love, happiness, and trust is when your rat boggles and bruxes in your presence. Bruxing and boggling are the behavior where rats grind their incisors up against one another, which causes their eyes to bulge out of their sockets. When you see it for the first time, it might be a bit worrying, but it's really nothing to worry about. All rats do it, and it's perfectly natural behavior. Though in some occasions, bruxing and boggling can be a sign of stress. Bruxing and boggling are behaviors that are mainly linked to contentment and relaxation. If your rat bruxes and boggles in your presence, it's a good sign that they feel relaxed and content, around which means that they trust you not to harm them. The seventh sign that your rats trust you is if they come to you for protection, if they hear or smell something that scares them. Hopefully this won't be necessary, but if your rats hear something loud like a fire alarm going off or another loud sound, or perhaps they smell a cat or another threat, and they come to you for protection, then that's a good sign that they trust you to protect them from the outside world. These 7 signs that your rat loves and trusts you are a great way to get a better understanding of your furry friend, but they should not be taken as gospel. All rats are unique and have different ways to show love and affection. These 7 are just the most common among the general rat population. In addition, just like humans, some rats are just more affectionate than others and are more willing to show their affection towards their humans. If your rat is a bit more standoffish or reserved, that's generally nothing to worry about. In addition, most rats get much more affectionate as they get older. Younger rats are more playful, curious, and excited, while older rats are more likely to cuddle up with you and hang out with you. I hope this video was informative and fun to watch. If you've got any other signs of affection or trust that you believe I've missed, feel free to share it with your fellow rat owners in the comments below. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel would be highly appreciated. It helps to grow the channel, and we post new videos about rats and other pets very frequently. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon.